The statement of work, or SOW, sometimes referred to as the scope of work, is essentially the definition of the work to be performed. The statement of work contains multiple elements. Let's take a look at these elements now. Here are the elements that will define your project. General scope of the work to be performed. Objectives and related background information. Tasks of the contractor. Performance requirements for the contractor's deliverables. Reference information for related studies, research, documentation, and specifications. Other related documentation. Support equipment for contract deliverables. Customer-provided property, facilities, and equipment, as well as services, if applicable. Customer-provided documentation. A performance schedule, and any additional exhibits, attachments, and appendices, as applicable. Each organization may handle the development of the statement of work differently, but most organizations follow along these lines depending on whether the statement of work is an internal arrangement between departments, business units, or otherwise within the same organization, or an external arrangement between the client and the organization conducting the work, or the organization performing the work and a vendor, and so on. If the statement of work is being arranged internally within the same organization, it is likely that the SOW would be developed by the project management office, if you have one, or by the project stakeholders and applicable user groups. If the statement of work is being arranged externally, depending on the situation and complexity, it may be prepared by any combination of the following: the project manager, line managers, and project sponsors. The client, who may have the capabilities to prepare it. The client may decide to contract the development of the SOW out to an independent third party, or the client may contract your organization to prepare it. It is important to note that the preparation of the statement of work requires some training, and it's not just a list of requirements thrown together. This part of the process should be taken quite seriously since, in the end of the project, results will be reflected back on this document to verify that final performance has met the statement of work, and will determine if your organization will be paid in full, receive bonuses, or suffer penalties. A few things to be aware of in regards to statements of work are potential problem areas and misinterpretation areas. Some problems may arise in the following areas. Project objectives or goals are not agreed upon by all parties. The project objectives are too rigid to accommodate changes in those priorities. Insufficient time exists to define the objectives well. Objectives are not adequately quantifiable. They're not documented well enough or clear enough. Or the efforts of the client and the project personnel are just not coordinated. Some areas where misinterpretation is possible include mixing tasks, specifications, approvals, and special instructions, using imprecise language such as nearly, optimal, and approximately. No structure or chronological order for any of the tasks. There's a large variation in the size of tasks. Large variation in how the work details are described. And failing to get third-party review of the SOW. As you can see, a lot goes into the planning phase.